Okay.
Hey guys, today we're in Bowling Green, Kentucky at Lost River Cave. We've been wanting to come here for quite some time, and today's the day we're going to take you guys on a cave tour. Lost River Cave is managed by the Friends of Lost River, which is a nonprofit organization. Their mission is to educate and enrich lives through connections with nature. We arrived there before they opened, so we took a walk around the beautiful grounds. We loved the murals they had painted. Once they opened, we walked around the gift shop. They had a huge variety of gifts, and this is also where you came to purchase your tickets for the cave tour. We loved the back wall that was full of photographs and video from days gone by. It was so interesting to see. These are the current prices of the tour when we went. And Keith went outside to investigate the sleuth that they have where you can mine for gems. There is so much history here. It's like you travel through time. This is an old building on site, and this is a look through the windows. People used to come here and spend their honeymoon on these cottages built right on the ledge overlooking the cavern. There is a nice little paved trail that takes you down to where you meet your tour guide for the tour. They even have a place where you can buy ice cream as a treat.
So we walk down the trail, we go left, and there's where you meet the tour guide. Crossing the bridge. Pretty high up down here. Trail, you could actually walk down through there.
We thought we saw a zipline platform earlier, and sure enough, they used to have a zipline here before the pandemic.
In layman's terms, as that acidic rainwater comes down, that groundwater kind of rolls over the rock. What it's going to do over thousands of years is start eroding away that limestone. It being a sedimentary rock, left behind from the oceanfront property we used to have here. It's easily kind of broken away and stuff, and when that happens, it will leave underground rivers, aquifers, channels and stuff running beneath us, but eventually will break open and start breaking away caves. So you guys walked in on that bridge, had this little riverbed beneath you. I know it looks all dried up and like there's nothing down there. There is in fact a river just running underground beneath you, running all the way back up the property through the 72 acres. Every once in a while, it will emerge up at what we call a blue hole. A blue hole is a karst window where those underground river systems and waterways emerge back up and become groundwater. We have it, our last one over here on the property. It's gonna be blue hole number 4. It's got a lot of history in it, but one of the reasons we call it the blue hole, you'll notice, you guys get a kind of a look at it today. We're in a little bit of a drought. That's pretty important to us today. I'll talk about it a bit more. But essentially what happens in the blue hole is that individual calcite will come to the top, leave like a little film across the top of the water, and calcite being a reflective mineral on property will reflect that sunlight, that blue sky, that green kind of back up at it. If you all like to follow me down here onto the river walk, we'll do a little history lesson about the blue hole, talk about why it's so important to us. Ready to dip their toes in the water on a hot summer day. They bet the first soldier that he couldn't jump in that blue hole there and swim to the bottom. He never resurfaces. The second guy goes in after his friend, he swims to the bottom and never comes back up as well. They lose me a little bit here because the third guy decides that it's also a good idea that he jumps in the water. Didn't make much sense, but he does not come back up. The fourth guy, I always say that guy would have been my friend. He hightails it out of the valley, runs back up, tells the battalion commander, whoever they had in charge up there, that they just lost 3 soldiers to what they now dub the bottomless man-eating pig. It gets so much talked about in the camp and everything, it makes it to the newspaper of the time. And what ends up happening is a couple rail workers on the L&N depot catch the newspaper, say, we're stopping in Bowling Green for the day. Why don't we go down there and check and see if that's really legit, see what's going on. So they brought a rock, and they got a rock and some rope, right? They chucked the rock in there, ended up having to get more rope, but using the rope that went off into the water, they got a depth measurement in feet. Anybody want to take a guess on how deep they got that blue hole to be? So 437 feet was the...
wow.
We'll circle back, don't worry. He gets his moment for a second. So what ended up happening, 437 feet deep, so crazy that even Ripley's Believe It or Not in their team hear about it. They come down here, turn of the century, and they go, well, congratulations, Cave Mill, Lost River Cave, whatever they were calling us at the time. If you have 437 feet down here, 400 feet to this cave mouth, that makes you the shortest but deepest river in the entire world. So in the 1950s, or 40s or 50s or so, Western Kentucky University's Hydrology and Geology department hear about that, hear our story. They come down here, they get the newest high tech of the time, which is an unwilling grad school student, a dinghy boat, and a big stick, goes into that blue hole there, and we get a new depth measurement in feet. Anybody want to take another crack at it? Even lower, about 15 to 20.
Oh no.
Not 437, unfortunately.
There's such a rich history here. It was a Native American hunting ground, a Civil War campground, Jesse James' hideout, and a 1930s nightclub.
Let's go and gather around, take a look. This is the cave mouth here, opening at Lost River Cave. About 120 feet across. It is one of the largest naturally occurring cave mouths on the east side of the Mississippi.
This is also the remnants of the Old Mill Dam, which was a hydroelectric generator producing electricity. Insecurity, unsoundness, where it caved in on itself. A little bit of pun intended there, but you can notice that by the rocks on the side here. That's just leftover cave debris, walls removed from thousands of years ago. But around the 1950s, we see quite a decline in the tourism here.
a decline in the attendance, so much so that the Perkins brothers end up going bankrupt. What ends up happening is we are no longer the coolest place in town. The emergence of the AC systems and everything had everyone else kind of go into above ground bars and speakeasies and stuff like that where they could stay cool without us. The second thing, the Perkins brothers are aging a little bit. Jazz is on its way out by the 50s. Instead of the NBC Orchestra, no one called Chuck Berry to come down here. I think if they would have pitched that as Rockin' in the Rock, they might have saved $1 or $2 at this place, but who knows? But the most important reason probably that ended up pulling tourism away from Bowling Green is the development of like the interstate highway system.
We'll show you more of the historic Cavern nightclub at the end of the video after the cave tour. It was so awesome to see.
You guys want to go ahead and start loading? The two of you can go down that right side. All of that happens. We're going to get hungry. If I do everything that I'm supposed to do right here pretty successfully, we'll only be cut down by about 20 minutes, okay?
20 minutes.
I'm kidding. All right, everybody good?
So far.
Whoa.
Okay, this is a little claustrophobic. Yay! That was a little claustrophobic.
Alrighty, first thing I want to draw your guys' attention to as we're getting kind of coming in here, you're going to see some of these early little stalactite formations, cool things like that. But one of the cool things that we talk about is our flowstone over here. You see that flowstone there? It's going to be water coming down, eroding the top layer of that limestone, leaving behind some of that mineral I was talking about, calcite. That's why you're getting this kind of bulbous, marshmallowy look here. And it's going to grow at the rate of about 1 cubic inch every 100 years deposited over top of all of that. So I don't know if you guys have any plans to come back in 100 years, but you might still see me here paying off student loans. So maybe send a grandkid or something. This is what we call our pollution scar. See all that dumping and all that illegal activity they were doing down here? It left its mark, both literally and figuratively. It's left behind a little kind of coating on some of the parts of this rock of oil, debris, stuff like that, that's not able to be eroded at the same rate. But there is good news, light at the end of the tunnel. Some of this stuff down here is being broken away. Some of that darker pollution color is being covered up by our nice open flowstone. So the process and the 35 years of not dumping and polluting this has kind of helped us out, right? As we get moving into the cave though, you'll get to say hi to our friend here, Rocky the Cave Dragon. He's what we call our cave protector, up there kind of hanging out, watching over us. But we're getting into the breakdown room. We call this the breakdown room because of the breakdown of the rock above you. You see, you're going to see a lot of cool things in this cave, a little bit of differences you might be used to in normal caves. This smooth cave ceiling up here, we're missing a pretty big formation there. Anybody notice kind of anything missing up there at the top of this cave you see in some normal caves?
Stalactites.
No big stalactites, right? No big columns, none of those stalagmites making those big formations all the way up to the top. You see, our cave here, we deal with a lot of flooding. We are the drainage basin for about 55 square miles on the south side of Warren County. So when we get rainfall in that watershed, it's going to eventually all make its way down here. We get a ½ inch of rain on that watershed, that basin. It's going to come down here by way of about 6 inches to a foot of river rise on just a ½ inch of rain.
We never tire of going on cave tours. Each cave that we take a tour is so unique and different and otherworldly. The only thing we didn't like about this tour is coming in and out of the cave. The ceiling was so low, it was very claustrophobic.
They feel a small bump if I come is to stand back here. I'm going to try to keep it as minimal as possible, but I guess we'll try to be ready for it. Our retention dam here, we can sit at about 6 inches of water. You can see how the water kind of it'll work its way around this bridge and let it kind of beat back up and these other people waves. It breaks off and kind of doesn't come big for a little bit. We have about 7 miles of total Cavern passageway, but not nearly all of that is traversable. This only goes back for maybe another half mile, 3/4 of a mile or so before it's eventually going to shrink down.
There's just something about being on a journey underground. It's just so beautiful and eerie and intriguing.
Very possible to see what we call cave crawfish. At the front of the cave, they're going to be a little bit like brownish, kind of tan, that darker color. But as you start to work your way back here in this middle part of the cave, you'll start to see them be a white color. And when we get back in the twilight areas of the cave that we kind of don't go to, that's way back there, they'll even become a translucent, where you're seeing the inside of their organs, their brains, heartbeat, all that crazy stuff. Much like myself, he was sure working hard. Probably there's going to be a couple thousand years of work there. Again, they're still really close to about an inch every 100 years or something like that. Pretty slow process, but we've been working for a while. We also have over here on the side. I used to all my children in the summer. This has been our inactive flow stone. Show you guys an active flow stone at the front. This is what would be left behind once the water patterns change above us. Developments in the highways, the houses, or just water breaking away in different areas. Sometimes the water doesn't flow exactly how it used to, but it leaves behind these cool little features, like our old waterfall probably here at this point, going down over all of this. But what's been cool the last week or so, we have been on a drought, so it's not really due to rainfall. We're still kind of figuring it out, and you can see how this is active right here. This has been flowing. We haven't seen it all summer or the past couple of years, and for some reason water has just decided to break away something and start running down here. So pretty cool. Pretty interesting how quickly things can change around here. Like I said, all it takes is a little bit of water. But a little bit of geography where you guys are right now. We're around 60, 70 feet of bedrock separating you and the roadway up there. So right above you are people just taking their little morning commutes, taking lunch at work and stuff. Not knowing you guys are down here, so it's pretty wild to think about.
It is pretty wild to think about that there's people right above us on a road going to and from work. It just feels like you're on another planet when you're underground.
The good thing about driving through this cave is this ever-changing water pattern. As soon as I learn where everything is, the water recedes into their mud banks where there weren't mud banks before. So it's always a learning experience. Leverage on my left, and my
Oh my gosh, it's so low. It's crazy.
But folks, I appreciate you guys coming on the tour today. Always good when I get to visit a couple people on this 9 a.m. tour, so it's not just me and one other guy. As we come up to this dock, please just remain in your seats. You will feel a bit of a bump up through the
And here's a closer look at the old underground nightclub. People still rent this space for special events and weddings, and people used to use it because it was free air conditioning. But now we have air conditioning in most every building, so it's not as used as it once was, but it's gorgeous. This is the Cavern nightclub. They have music, There's a bar area. You can rent this for weddings. Here's where the bands would sit and play. How cool is that? It's beautiful. So beautiful. We even met a real Jesse James on our tour. There are also many walking trails on this property. If you would like to see more of our videos, click the video that just popped up on your screen.